So recently, SteelSeries came out with the Alias and the Alias Pro streaming microphones. While other companies have been a little bit quicker to actually bring a product to market, SteelSeries kind of took their time, looked at what's available, and what kind of shortcomings they had. And now they have these two new microphones. This one, the Alias, is USB powered, and then the Alias Pro is XLR, but it comes with its own stream mixer as well. But as good as both of these mics are, I think one of the best features here is the Sonar, which is a part of the SteelSeries GG app. So we're going to dive in, take a close look at both these microphones, and take a really close look at what all you can do in Sonar, because it's pretty incredible even if you don't have a SteelSeries microphone. And of course, we are recording on the Alias Pro right now. I won't put any extra effects on it, but we are using the presets that are found within Sonar. So let's dive in and check them out. Hey everyone, I'm Jordan with 9 to 5 Toys, and first off, we are going to dive in and take a close look at the Alias. This entry-level microphone from SteelSeries is coming in at $180. At its core, Alias is a USB microphone with a large condenser capsule, some handy physical controls, and a built-in shock mount. And rather than multiple smaller condenser capsules in here for picking up different polar patterns like the Yeti or like the Quadcast S, the Alias has one large condenser capsule in here, a 1-inch, which is quite a bit bigger than a lot of the competition. And basically, SteelSeries claims that a larger condenser in here is going to more accurately pick up your voice and make it sound better. And both the Alias and the Alias Pro do come with this pretty beefy desk stand, which gets it a few inches off your desk, but it's also easy to work with a boom arm like how I have the Alias Pro set up here, and this is definitely my preferred way of using it. And if you're looking for an affordable boom arm, I'll put a couple links to ones in Amazon that I've used in the past. Check them down in the description. And on both of these, with both of these mounts, you can see that there is a shock mount on here. So that's going to help minimize desk impacts. That was a big issue I had with the stock form of the HyperX SoloCast. I did also make some modifications to that. You can see that video up here in the corner if you want to learn more about the SoloCast. Focusing on the Alias again, on the front of the mic, there is a headphone volume dial at the bottom. There is a 3.5mm port on the back of the microphone that can be controlled with this dial. Moving up the front of the microphone, there is a small touch capacitive mute button. Occasionally, the button didn't activate as I think it should. It took a couple more taps to get it to mute than what I thought. But it's easy to tell when the mic is muted. There is this huge, large red X that appears in LED lights on the front of the microphone. These LED lights also act as RGB level monitor. It grows green, yellow, and red depending on the volume. Around on the back is that 3.5mm port, a USB-C port, and the dial to control the gain of the Alias. And as a condenser microphone, the setup is a little bit different than a dynamic microphone like the Shure MV7, which we've been using a lot in our live streams recently. Condenser microphones typically you want to have a little bit further away because they are more sensitive than dynamic microphones. And in a little briefing with some SteelSeries representatives, they mentioned that, this was designed to be positioned 8 to 12 inches away from the source. So this isn't like a dynamic microphone where you're just eating the microphone. You want it to be a little bit further away to make sure that you're getting the best experience. This puts it at the right position to pick up my voice, but not get too many plosives or, other sounds that you don't want to pick up. And so while these condenser microphones usually record a very accurate representation of your voice, also because they are more sensitive and you have them positioned further away, they can pick up a lot more room noise, like fans, like echo in rooms like mine that are not sound treated. Also different sounds like keyboard presses and mouse clicks. So SteelSeries has done an incredible job of combating that with their SteelSeries GG Sonar software, which we do have enabled right now. And we're going to take a closer look at that a little bit later, so make sure you check that out too because it's pretty incredible. All right, and now we'll take a close look at the Alias Pro, which is what we are recording on right now. You're looking at the two microphones side by side design-wise from the front. They look very similar. Obviously, the big difference between the two is you have these extra little buttons and controls here on the normal Alias that you don't find on the Alias Pro. But you also get the little controller mixer that comes with the Alias Pro, so some differences between the two. And taking a look at the stream mixer, one of the biggest features here is that on the back there are two USB-C outputs. So this is basically designed for streamers that have a dual PC setup. I personally have never messed around with setting up a dual PC stream, but I have heard from other streamers that that can be quite difficult to do with a lot of routing of the audio and everything to get it all situated. So SteelSeries has built this into this. It really seems like, this is a core design feature meant for streamers with a 2 PC setup, and this is supposed to make it, a little bit easier for them to get everything set up there. But that does mean that this microphone and stream mixer is quite expensive, coming in at $330. So quite a bit of money to pay for that, but if you are in that situation with that kind of setup and you've had, headaches in the past with getting things set up virtually, this might be worth it to get something that has some great built-in physical features that make that a lot easier to do. Additionally, on the back are the XLR input, a 3.5mm port, a power button, and a power plug. And so while there are, physical on microphone controls on the Alias, we're missing those on the microphone, but they're still near at hand with the stream mixer. There are 4 different controls on the front here. For dials, on the left, you have a gain knob, and then on the right, you have a customizable dial that can be set to different volume levels from within the SteelSeries GG app. Down below, you have a microphone mute button, and then you have an additional mute button that, once again, can be customized to different features that you might want. So you can mute and unmute individual channels from within Sonar and SteelSeries GG, which we'll take a look at here in a second. Additionally, the lighting can be customized as well. Both of the buttons will illuminate, and then there is this ambient light underneath it, and both of those can be customized if you want to set that up for your stream colors. All right, so those are some basic overviews of the microphones. You could hear what it sounds like. We're going to dive into Sonar now, and first thing we're going to do is basically give you an example of what it sounds like with Sonar turned off, what it sounds like straight out of the microphone. It still sounds good, but you're going to hear it's picking up a lot more background noise. So I have it set now to what I call raw, which has everything turned off in here. So this is just straight out of the microphone, and you should be able to hear there is quite a bit of noise coming through. The room sounds a little bit boomier in my testing. You can hear the microphone quite a bit. Now up top here under the configuration, there are drop downs and settings for the Alias boom arm, Alias desk stand, Alias Pro boom arm, Alias Pro desk stand. So there are some, presets in here that are perfectly suited to these different microphones and how you have them set up. So I have the Alias Pro, it's on a boom arm. Let's select that, and immediately it turns on the equalizer, it turns on the Clearcast AI noise cancellation, the compressor, and so it's set up for, some defaults that SteelSeries thinks is good for this. And I think I've tweaked it a little bit. I turned up the AI noise cancellation, which in my experience works extremely well. So I've got that turned up a little bit. But otherwise EQ is set really well, and it just makes this microphone sound full, takes out a lot of the background noise. So just very impressed with what Sonar can do. But let's check out some other things as well. There is also noise reduction, but this is a separate control to the AI noise cancellation. You can't have them both enabled at the same time. Personally, I think the AI's noise cancellation is working really well. I feel like it's working similarly as what NVIDIA Broadcast would, with knocking out, all the random noises in the background and making sure that my voice comes through. Even when I talk quieter, it really picks that up. It's not an issue. So really impressed with what that can do. And then you can turn on noise gate as well. But once again, with noise cancellation, I feel like it's not really necessary. One other thing I wanted to call out real quick with the equalizer is that you can see up here, it has some different labels for the different frequency ranges: low-end rumbles, core voice, box, mid-range, sibilance, and air. And this can be toggled to a default if you just want to leave it in the default mode where it says everything from sub bass to upper mids and highs. So that can be tailored to, what kind of changes you're trying to make. And if you aren't sure what frequencies that would actually be, then this gives you a good idea of different things to tweak with that you can change in here. And unfortunately, SteelSeries GG and Sonar, it's a massive application with a lot that you can do. And I'm not going to dive into everything you can do in this app right now. There's some incredible controls in the game tab, but we're going to hop over to and check out is the mixer tab. And so you can see there are different categories you can set your different basically audio sources to. You can see I have OBS and I have Adobe Audition, NVIDIA Broadcast over here. And I have music from Spotify that also pops up. And what's cool about this is that you can route them very easily. Typically with like the Razer audio mixer, you had to manually route these different things in the Windows sound mixer, which you can do, but it's not as easy as this because you can just drag and drop. So I just dropped Spotify over in media, and that's good to go. And then for streamers, what takes this to the next level is using this streamer mode. So basically that divides each one of these categories into a playback, what you're hearing, and a stream mix, what's set as a different output that can have different levels set in there. So if you're using Streamlabs like I do, you basically just set the audio input as this streaming output from Sonar, and then you have, specific controls and audio levels for all these different categories. You can change the volumes and even mute them all individually between playback and between the stream mix. And so there's some really powerful controls in there that make it really easy to use. These are some things that I've tried to set up in the past with like the Razer Audio Mixer and Streamlabs. And I had to, do virtual cables and some different things to get everything set in there how I wanted it to actually work so that I could have people in Discord, I could mute them easily, but still hear them and they just wouldn't be showing up in stream. But that's all very easy to do here. Kind of the best thing about this is that we're talking about SteelSeries microphones and SteelSeries software, but this software isn't limited to just the SteelSeries hardware. You can use any microphone, any headset. So really, like the HyperX SoloCast that I've used for a lot of stuff and made a few videos about, still one of my top recommendations when it comes to an affordable condenser streaming microphone. You can use that as an input, still make all these tweaks to it, use that AI noise reduction. You can EQ it. You can do everything just like you can with the Alias microphones with the HyperX Quadcast or the HyperX SoloCast. So pretty amazing there that you can do all this stuff. You can also do that with a headset microphone. You could do that with a wireless headset microphone. You just hit this little drop down under the master and you set your personal mix, what it's being put out to, your stream mix, where you want that to go out to, and your mic inputs. You can change this mic to different things and you still get all of the controls that you would have with the Alias. So I really think SteelSeries GG and Sonar are an incredibly powerful tool for streamers and definitely something you should check out if you've been wanting to, play around with EQ or play around with routing different audio sources. A lot of powerful tools in here. I've used NVIDIA Broadcast in the past quite a bit to kind of remove background noise from like fans and air conditioners and different things and keyboard noise. But if you don't have an NVIDIA card, you don't have access to that. And this built into Sonar, I think, is working. It's working very well for me. I haven't quite put it to the same test as what I would have done with NVIDIA Broadcast, but so far it seems to be working really well, and I think is a great alternative if you don't have an NVIDIA card for NVIDIA Broadcast. All right, so now I have the Alias set up so you can get an idea of what this microphone sounds like. I do have the Alias boom arm setting enabled right now from within, SteelSeries GG Sonar. So to me, this is the best way to use this microphone. If you aren't using the software, I think you're really missing out. But this is what you can expect with that. And here's what it will sound like just raw with just the microphone input. We'll tap around a little bit on the keyboard here. And now we'll hop back over. Whoops. And now we will hop back over to the Alias boom arm. And this is what you can expect, the difference between those two. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what the Alias sounds like. I think both these mics sound great, especially with the software here with Sonar. Overall, wrapping up here, I really think SteelSeries hit the ground running and swinging hard with these microphones. They have massive condensers, they sound great and sound so much better with the Sonar software in a room like this. But that being said, the software is powerful. These microphones are expensive, $180 for the Alias, $330 for the Alias Pro and the Stream Mixer. Now, for the professional streamer who's using a dual PC setup, I think the $330 for this microphone, for the Stream Mixer and the dual outputs, I don't think that's super unreasonable, because you get some physical hardware that makes setting up a dual PC setup a lot easier. Incredible sounding microphone and incredible control through the app. But for those who are on a tighter budget, because this is free software, pick up something like the SoloCast and play around with this, tweak the audio, get it to sound better, put the SoloCast on a boom arm, and you're going to have an incredible experience for a lot less money than, what the Alias would be. That being said, once again, I think these sound incredible. I love the design. I think the mute button and the LEDs on here are great. It looks great. It sounds great, but it's pretty expensive. So that's my take on these microphones and my take on Sonar. I am going to be using these, going forward in our live stream. So make sure you are subscribed, hit that bell icon if you want to know when we're going live. You can join in the chat conversation, ask me any questions about these or any other microphones or mice or keyboards or anything else, and we can chat about them there live on stream. But that's going to do it for this review of the Alias and the Alias Pro. Let us know what you think about them down in the comments below. And if you're looking for some other videos to watch, I'll link to our video on making the HyperX SoloCast sound better, as well as our most recent video. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so others can find it easier, and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.